What up? How's it going? So, just a little bit where I'm at. I got offered a job opportunity, but it's more like, not too stable, but nonetheless, definitely like a team thing, and it's still in the industry. But, yesterday I did some plasma, so, I ate like a pretty decent meal last night. But I'm at 267. Last week I was at 270, but that could be water weight or whatever. So that's for the chemtrails. But nonetheless, doing pretty decent. Just trying to stay positive. It sucks not to work, but yeah. Today just fasting a little bit, the day, and then seeing where that takes me. And tomorrow, hopefully the beginning of a work day. And it's not exactly where I wanted to go with the said situation, but nonetheless, the work is work, So at first it would just be helping out and making sure, packaging gets through and stuff of that nature. But man, the stress is real, and if you're stressing, just stay as positive as you can, as composed as you can. This morning was a madness morning. I freaking going to this interview thing to see if we could make it work. Me and my homie Hoon, for my last job, and we're trying to make it work. We're trying to stay in the industry, stay where our heart is, and as we're driving, or as before he picks me up, my mom calls me and she's in the hospital. She's having like some heart issues, and I'm like, oh man, so keep me updated, type stuff. And so I'm a little worried. And then my lady calls me, and our car took a shit on the freeway. So I'm like, oh, no, I'm really kind of like, oh good, and like halfway through this meeting, and just trying to stay positive, trying to show me, like, hey, I'm about it, I want to do this. It's a smaller suit. It's just more team building and it's more trust. So, I feel these guys are fucking super awesome, man. And, just like all of us, we've all been to that place where, people come and they do not erratic things, but they just try to change things up, for their people, their deals. And I didn't want it to be like that, especially on my last job. Man, I love being inside that building. I love being inside those walls, man. I was 10 years there. And, I've seen people come, seen people go. And, I wanted to be there, and I wanted to get behind a team who was about it, trying to make things happen and whatnot. But sometimes, sorry about that. Sometimes that's how it crumbles, and sometimes that's how it happens. But like I said, trying to stay positive, and hopefully maybe one day if you're from Arizona, or maybe if we spread that far, I'll see you too, like in person and whatnot. And it's all love, it's all positive. I don't want to see people lose. I'm not for that kind of thing. I look up to my friend on those kind of aspects of his character, because there was this one person we worked with, and this person was like just real not to my liking of character and the way they carry themselves and whatnot. But nonetheless, still try to be nice, still try to be as normal as I could be, still try to be happy and positive around this person, even though they would say things that really I'm not about, and stuff, and, I'm not a hater or anything, or, I'm more of a person that, you carry yourself in a specific manner, and in a good manner, some pretty decent morals. And I get along with you, This person was unique in that aspect, what their thoughts were and stuff of this nature, like, doesn't even have kids, but it's got their whole, kids should do this and stuff of this nature, which I'm like, not that, me having kids makes me more like professional or anything, but just from a standpoint of, like, not that the old ways are dying or dying breed, but more of a, like, there's just certain things that that kids should be like in front of witnessing, experiencing, and some of the things that that person talked about was a little bit out there to me. It was a little bit much, especially this person is like a kid themselves, and it's like a person you meet that's, a Mr. or Mrs. matter-of-factly, regardless of what you say, they know, and I'm not saying that I know, and we should all be in that kind of suit, because I don't know, I'm just trying to put my best foot forward, since I was like, 18, 17, something like that, trying to figure it out and just figure out how to be nicer and figure out how to be better, and as fair as possible. There's a whole lot of that now that's, people say fair and equality and all this kind of things, and like, be really fair, and I don't want to go too much into that, but this person is very unique on that aspect. But if we were in switch different roles and everything, this person wouldn't want to be like how they say. And, sorry for going on that long tangent, but, even through all the difficulties on understanding communication with this person, I still tried to do my best to be a good energy soul, and even though there were situations where I was like, oh, cringe, or, I didn't like that, or, I even worked with this person personally and still had their back. It's crazy. Sometimes you gotta have those type of people, or a person with different understandings and perception about things. Sometimes you still gotta have their back. But anyways, my last job, there's a couple of them, and somehow they got in control of the workspace, and no matter how much I did, it wasn't good enough just because I'm me, and I don't see myself as anything other than, what I am, like, American, trying to make things better and trying to make things happen and trying to do for, the best opportunity. But if you're stressing, stay positive. It doesn't have to be negative, and it doesn't have to be, doesn't have to be like that, all the conflict and all those kind of situations. It could be peaceful and, understanding, and, it's just hard to get on some people's levels about things. It's a little hard, sometimes, especially when the person seems like they don't understand themselves. They're just thinking like Mr. or Mrs. matter of fact. And to me, you can't be really matter of fact about anything, because all these things were learned, as we grew up. There's a lot of learned things, and some of the things are not necessarily wrong or right or whatever. But if you give yourself a second, you know, like, not to say meditate, you know, or not to, but if you can give yourself a second to listen, and really listen. And it's kind of hard for me to do those things because I've always had these things in my mind, like telling me, oh, this thing, that thing, this thing, like matter of fact to myself, you know. But if you just listen to it and be your own worst critic on it, on top of not passing those moral boundaries yourself, you can learn a lot about the situation that we're in, this experience that we're all sharing together, you know, and you know, the whole negative aspect on it, like even right now I'm still kind of stressing a little bit about this whole job opportunity, and because now I'm gonna have to bust ass and show that I'm worth it. But I am worth it, just like you're worth it. You're worth it, you know, and you're powerful and you're strong, and there's not too much of that where I'm from, you know, and the situations I've been in with this experience. But we can make better communication with that, you know, and I'm hoping to start a little bit of it with, you know, these little videos and stuff, and, you know, just, you know, making sure people understand that you're not alone. And it might seem like we're very alone, but the division is real, and I wish it was more understanding, you know, from people all the way down the line going left to all the people on the line going right. But nonetheless, if you have a good heart and you have a good moral stances, not only on the world but yourself, you can make it, you know, you can do the things. So I'm hoping this is a good start to the things that I want to do, and I'm hoping I'm with good people and on the better judgment of life and this existence. Because all I want to do is not necessarily be happy, but be content with said situation, you know, the present, you know, and if you get that, then you're on an understanding of that kind of situation. But, you know, like, love yourself, be happy for yourself, be proud of yourself, even though you are like me, like I was feeling like I was being drugged through this whole fucking experience, and all I was trying to do was be my utmost best and positive for said situation, that experience at the time. And even right now I'm still trying to be nicer to myself, you know, because it's very easy to, when you get in this situation, to act very negative on it, you know, like how, you know, something happens, doesn't happen in your favor, and you're like, man, fuck, I'm dumb, or fuck, this situation is very negative, you know. But if you put that upon yourself, then it will stay in that constant energy, will stay in that constant flow with yourself. But it doesn't have to be like that. I know it's hard to unlearn some of these, in particular, I would assume like habits is the best way to describe, but it's just, that's how we are, you know. That's why I used to like to do, and now and then I'll do, you know, little trips, you know, psychedelics and stuff, and because it gets me in a different point of view on things. Like, for instance, when I was really young, we had this neighbor, and he was really cool. I thought he was really cool, you know, back when I used to shave my head and, you know, be like a little bit of a Chicano, more embrace that kind of lifestyle. And we had this next door neighbor, or, you know, around the way or whatever, but we would see him and smoke sometimes with them. And this one day, you know, he came up to me, and I'm like hard up for bud, and he's like, check this out, boom, boom, and threw me some Salvia Black Magic and something like ADX, and it's the first time that I ever done Salvia before. And I dabbled, you know, like most people, psychedelics before, but not super strong like that. That was ridiculous. But I like that I didn't know what it was, because instead of necessarily being scared about said situation, I was more like caught in the awe of it, if you know what that means. Like, when I had hit that salvia, I didn't even know I was tripping at the time. I was just more caught in like, whoa, that kind of situation. And from that point, and like afterwards, I was kind of like, my mind was like such a different situation that I've ever experienced before. It actually made me feel good about being here. So like more grateful in a way, you know? And so at that point in my life, because, you know, I was going through it emotionally and shit, and obviously physically, and I still haven't, you know, got it all, like the situation with the health and stuff how I want to, and I've been battling that all my life. Um, but when I did do it, it would always put me in that kind of gratefulness for being just perceiving in the way that I do. And, you know, I even went as far as to dose people up that I thought that at the time, their ego needed checked and stuff, which was totally wrong of me to do, but it was hilarious. But nonetheless, it was wrong. But, so, you know, those kind of little things helped me at the time. And every now and then, I'll take me some, you know, shrooms, and I'll take, you know, 2 to 3 to 4 grams sometimes, you know, and I will just try to listen as best as I can. And, you know, some people may call it, you know, bad or good or whatever, but it definitely puts me in a different standpoints of thinking when I come to again, when I'm like this, existing regular, without plus, you know, always, you know, when I'm tripping and stuff, and I'm always like, oh crap, like it's peaking, or I'm having a real bad one, I always like to remember to think that this is me plus, you know, whatever it is, whether it be mushrooms or at those times alcohol, you know, when you could be like on a sick one and stuff. But I didn't know that because I wake up so all the matter of factly, you know, when I wake up, I don't think I'm me. I know I'm me. The situation is so that I can change those kind of processes and those ways of understanding. I just have to be patient and actually be like what I was saying earlier about, like, you know, that meditation or whatever, when you just listen, you know, that being aware, you know, being aware of it, you know, you're being aware of it, aware. And that's helped me so much in my life, at least not just come off the cuff or say things that come to the forefront of my mind when certain people say certain things. And even, you know, because I have kids and stuff, you know, being at certain meetings, you know, with all the other parents there, and just wanting to come off cuff. And because I always think like I'm always the younger guy there. Now I'm not so much, but I always thought. And this one time it totally not slapped me in the face, but you know, I got a little upset, and I kind of like, what are we doing, guys? Like, what? And I was hoping that all the other, you know, guys, dads and stuff would have my back, and it seemed like they wanted to have my back, but then I don't know if it's because of the way I look or the way because my communication was or what, but they didn't have my back like I thought. So then I had to move my kids' schools and stuff, and I'm not going to go into detail about that, but if you know nowadays, you know what I'm talking about. But I'm not about being hard on the kids either or anything, but being the other way about it is not necessarily good either. You know, not to say bullying is good or bad or anything, just saying being aware, making the kids more understanding and being aware of said situations, because a lot of the time people just, you know, they're just people doing what they think is right and stuff, you know. Another time when I was at like in a DCS type situation and trying to figure it out with my lady and trying to ask for help and whatever, you know, I get to these points sometimes where usually I'm not like an out talking person, but this people had their young kids, and they're just being wicked disrespectful, you know, just being just a bit much. Parents are not doing nothing, so, you know, I almost got in trouble in the experience that was happening. But I'm like, hey, you know, whose kid is this? What's going on here? We're already in this situation with all these other people that is having a hard time, and you know, you notice when you know I look back and I seen the parents like, get your kid, you know, make sure your kid's good. Like, this is madness, and not to be like, you know, like mean or anything, but it's like, take care of yours, you know, take care. Like, don't do that. And I get it, dude, that comes with a lot of drugs and that situation, but at the same time it's like, Jesus Christ, like, man, it's your kid, man, you know. Just get a hold of the situation. And you know, I'm trying my best not to be like that. I'm trying my best not to be confrontational. I'm trying my best not to, you know, come off the cuff. I'm trying my best just to be aware and try not to be that energy out, because it's much more easy to be said than to be done. You know, like even when I'm at my house and I'm just chilling and, you know, my kids do something in a certain manner, it like hits my perspective differently inside. You know, all I want to do is yell, you know, stop, don't do that. You know, you're not supposed to be doing that, you know. But instead I've been trying to handle it in a less wrathful way. I've never been like a hitter in that unless something is way uncalled for, you know. But my kids are doing pretty good right now, you know. My son is a teenager now, and I'm trying my best to give him the awareness, you know, and I'm trying my best to give my kids the awareness, because I don't want them to be like me. And the things that I understood growing up were the lies and the failure to communication. You know, I know kids should be kids and stuff, but at the same time we shouldn't be lying, and we shouldn't be pushing those kind of standards on our kids, because man, they're highly like sponges, and they can learn in a way better situation. So I'm just trying to do that, you know, and I'm just trying to be better. And I'm sorry that I went on this whole like rant thing. Just want to let you know that if you're going through a negative time, you know, and a negative experience, you got this. Stay positive. You're powerful. You know, take a couple breaths. Take a couple seconds to be aware. You know, it has nothing to do with thinking. It just has to do with being aware about the situations. It's the best way. Well, for me, anyways, it's the best way. And I know I'm not in the best situation. I am still in a terrible situation, at least, you know, from certain standpoints. But at least in the inside of my mind and the process, I am in a better situation. I'm not so wrathful. I'm not so come off the cuff anymore. I'm not so narrow-minded. And I try to give the understanding. Like, it's like being open-minded in a way where you give yourself time to understand said situations at times, because, you know, I'm not a fucking mind reader, and I know people are not mind readers, and sometimes people are very matter-of-factly, and sometimes people are just, people will be people. So, you know, you got this. Stay positive. You're powerful. Much love. Until next time, I'll update you with what I'm doing and how I'm trying to do it, just to be a little bit better. You know what I mean? I wish I had friends, you know, because I do have friends that I don't see in a long time, but they're like we never even left. You know what I mean? Like, we get together, and it's like we never even left. Not seeing each other in a minute, you know. But then there's two where there was a lot of friends where it was like obviously better not to be in that energy. So I wasn't doing particular things at the time where I thought were okay that are not okay. But stay positive, you're powerful. Much love. Let's get this.